Right, good afternoon everyone, and welcome to another one of our Just Too Easy webinars. So my name is Nikki Kimball. I'm one of the educational consultants here at Just Too Easy. And in this session, we are going to be looking at the parent portal. Now, I have done a webinar about this previously, but we've had a number of updates. So this one does include all of the new app updates, and I'm going to showcase the app to you and how it works. So, today's session and what we're going to cover. We're going to look at how you can set up your school Just Too Easy parent portal as a teacher. I'm also going to look at how you can personalise your parent portal settings, so things like switching off access to the child files, reducing the messaging capabilities, that sort of thing. And then I'm going to show you the parent's view of the portal. So that will include things like how the parent portal looks for your parents on the homepage, adjusting notifications in the app, and I'm going to showcase the app to you, messaging using J2 Message, viewing child files and work, J2 Stars, J2 Homework, uploading work on their child's behalf, and also the class blog or J2 Webby. And then I'm going to circle back to the teacher view and how you as a teacher can use J2 Message to message parents. So first of all, some frequently asked questions that we get a lot of. The parent portal does have to be switched on, and by that I mean that parents have to have received either an email invite or a QR code that will link them to the parent portal. So your parents won't have access to this inadvertently. It has to be a process that is followed. Access can be removed at any time. Now, we would highly recommend that you send out some sort of acceptable usage policy to your parents. Now, we do have one available on our website, just outlining behaviour expectations and processes that should be followed. So, for example, things like confidential information shouldn't be shared across the parent portal. And things like that, or things that require a timely response. You may even want to consider switching off parent messaging back into school. I think quite a few authorities have chosen to do that. As I've said here, messaging can be switched off, can be made one way, and restrictions can be added. So, for example, only providing a parent with one contactable teacher as opposed to giving them free rein of all the teachers in school. But I will showcase all of those things in today's webinar. Now, first of all, we're going to start with personalising the parent portal. So before you launch your parent portal, it's probably quite important to have a think about whether you want various things switched on or off. And all of this is done in J2 Dashboard. So this is the admin area on the site. It is a teacher-only tool, so only teachers can access this. And I would suggest that the ICT lead or the head or the principal makes this decision as a universal across school decision. So there's a number of things that we can do, and you can see there the first one says parent portal active, so that does need to be switched on. Even if it is switched on, as I said earlier, parents can only access this if they have an email invite or a QR code invite. There's also the ability to switch off messaging completely, so you can switch it off just by ticking this box here. Now, if we switch this one off underneath, allow parents to message teachers, that makes it a one-way messaging service. That means only teachers can message parents, and parents can read that almost like a virtual display board and can keep abreast of things that are going on in school. Now, you may want to allow parents to message back to teachers. Now, we are going to get into the ins and outs of it, but a parent will never be able to message within a class discussion board. That will always move to a one-to-one discussion board. And I'm going to have a look at J2 Dashboard in a second. The last thing we've got is allow parents to view child files and work. You can switch that off. That will give parents a view-only view of the child's My Files area. So that would be anything that's saved into My Files. So some schools do like to switch that off. It's personal preference at this point. The last thing to draw your attention to is the J2 message log at the bottom here. So that logs all messages. Every message sent by every user, be that parent, pupil or teacher. So it's very important to not only draw your parents' attention to that, and that is a process that is available to you. You also need to make pupils and teachers aware of that. And that includes deleted messages. So any deleted message can be reinstated. So this really is a safety net for you. Should you have any disclosures, any unwarranted behaviour or messages, that will be your safety net. Now the other thing I'm going to point out, and I'm going to go to J2 dashboard, which is here. And there we go, there is our parent portal settings. If you do choose to allow parents to message teachers, you can click this button that says configure. Now what that will mean is you can choose which teachers the parents in each class can contact. So for example, class 1, I can click on class 1. At the moment, it allows any teacher to be contactable by the class 1 parents. So that means the head teacher, any of the SLT, any teacher in school will be contactable. We can reduce this, and to do that you're going to click choose, and then you are simply going to choose, and you can hit the control button and you can select the teachers that you would like those parents to have access to. So it may be the class teacher, it may be the pastoral lead, it may be the head of year, for example, or just one if you prefer. And then click OK, and that now has reduced all teachers down to just 3 teachers. So that means all parents in class 1 can contact any of those 3 teachers. So that is how you would streamline your messaging service. So it's well worth having a conversation prior to launching your parent portal about what sorts of access you want your parents having. Now, adding parents into the parent portal, so providing them with access, we now offer QR codes. So you can either send home a printable QR code, or you can link using an email address. Again, this is personal preference. The email addresses does take a lot more time, but potentially is more secure in that you know exactly where that email is going. The QR code, once you hand it home, you then have less control over who can scan that. However, you do have some certain things that you can do. So let's have a look at this. So this is done again through the J2 dashboard. So I'm going to click back into my dashboard. Here we go. And we've got our Parents tab right here at the top. So I'm going to click on my Parents tab, and that is going to open that up. Now it will more than likely open up in the first class that you have. So either your reception class or your whatever class comes first in the list. And we can see here all of my pupils in class 1. So I've got class 1. You can use the drop down menu and choose a different class. There are also the ability to add teaching classes. So this can be done through the classes tab. These are smaller groups of students. So it might be that you just want a few students to be linked up. So you can create a smaller group and link those parents up. I'm going to stick my class 1s, and I can scroll through, and these are all my students. Now you'll notice that I have already generated QR codes for my students, so they've been sent out. And I also have some linked parents. So we can see here, parent, this means that they are linked. So there's 2 ways to invite a parent, as I said. We'll go through the invite using email first of all. So David, for example, will pop our invite here. We'll click on the invite, and that will then prompt you to input an email address. Once you put that email address and click enter, that will send an invite email to that parent's email address. The same goes with the QR code. So we can click create QR codes. So that now is going to create a QR code per parent, or per child, should I say. Whoever scans that QR code will then be linked up to their child's account. Now we will talk about setup and the parent's view shortly, but from a teacher perspective, that is the setup. You either print a QR code and send it home, or you invite using a manually input email address. Now, once they are connected, we can see here we've got 5 families connected. You can remove access at any point. So, for example, I'm going to remove Noah. Okay, so we've got Noah, whose test parent is linked. I can just press that cross, and that has then unlinked that parent. So that has removed access to that pupil for that particular parent or carer. Now, the other thing we can do, once you've sent out a QR code, so for example, this is Harry's parent, he's linked up, his parent is linked up to that account. I might want to null and void that QR code. I don't want anybody else scanning it. So what I can do is I can press that cross there next to invited, and that then, when that QR code is scanned, that means it won't do anything. So you can keep a close eye once you've sent out your QR code. You can see the relevant parent. You can delete those QR codes once that has been done. So here we go. I could say, right, these can be removed because I can see this parent has been linked already. So that is the setup and linking via QR codes and email addresses. Now, once an email has been sent out, your parents will receive an email that looks like this. So you've been invited to connect as a parent to so-and-so's in Just Too Easy. They click on this connect to your child button, and that will take them to a registration page, and this is what it looks like. It requires some simple details: first name, surname, email address. They need to set their own password, and they also need to agree to the Just Too Easy terms and conditions and privacy policy. This only needs to be done once, so for parents that have multiple children in school, this registration only needs to be done once. Now, they can link up the same children to the same parent portal account, and I am going to show you how that can be done shortly, but they will need to participate in this registration. This will be the same with the QR code as well. They will still need to register. They scan the QR code using the camera app on their device, click on the link, and it will take them to the registration page. Okay, now in terms of accessing the parent portal, it is best accessed through the app. We do have an app called Just Too Easy Parent Portal, and it will look and function the best when using the app as opposed to using the browser. So alternatively, if they don't want to download the app, as I said, we would highly recommend they do for full functionality. If they don't want to, or they're using a desktop instead of a phone or a tablet, they can input the email, the URL parent.j2e.com. So both of those will take them to their parent portal account. But as I said, I'm just going to reiterate one more time, because we get a lot of questions with parents saying it's not working very well, it's not easy to use. That will generally be because they're trying to use it in a browser on a device such as a phone or a tablet, when it works much, much better using the app. Now, I'm going to showcase the parent view. So this is what the parent view looks like from a desktop. So on a laptop or a PC. You'll see a home page, and the parent will see the linked children, so they can toggle between the different children that they might have at school. And they can also see the number will refer to any messages that are due to be sort of looked at within that particular child's account. Once they click on a child, so for example Max here, this is what the home page for that child would look like. So you can see here we've got the child that we're looking at, we've got the message, J2 message in the top right, we've got outstanding homework tasks here, so Max has got one outstanding homework task, the number of J2 stars received this week, and then buttons to J2 homework, child files, so that takes them to that child's My Files area, upload files, so they can upload on that child's behalf, and also the class blog in J2 Webby. Now I'm just going to drag in my phone as well, just to give you an idea. As you can see, I've got the app installed here on my home screen. So I'm going to open up my my Just Too Easy Parent Portal app. And this is what it looks like on a phone. So you can see it slightly differently. It's more of sort of a portrait view. We can click in any of these children, and there we go. So it's quite a consistent interface. We can see Max at the top. We can see the number of messages that are outstanding, the number of homework tasks, J2 stars, and as we scroll down we've also got all the other buttons that we had on the desktop. Now the only difference with the app is to switch user, so to switch to a different child, we would just use this back button here. Okay, I'm going to put that out of the way for now. Now, notifications. This is a new update, and your parents can now receive notifications, and they have a lot more power over what these notifications look like, which notifications they are receiving. So this is done through the app. So I'm going to again drag in my phone so you can have a look. So I'm going to go into Lottie. Now, no, I'm not. I'm going to click on the settings tab at the top. It's just out of sight there. So I'm going to click on that. And that's going to take me into the settings area. So this is where your parents can change things like the display name. They can change things like their first name and surname. They can select a different language. They can also change their password at the bottom there. So if they do want to have a new password, they will need their current password for that. And then you can see I've got my notifications tab at the bottom. So here we go. My parents can disable notifications at the top, or they can allow email notifications, or they can switch those off. So let's switch my email notifications off. There we go. And we've also got push notifications. So these are notifications that they will receive on their phone. So things like a banner along the top, and also a little red number that shows on their home page when they're on the home screen of their phone. So it just gives them a little push to have a look at their child's account because there's new content. They can get push notifications for new messages, assigned homework, and J2 stars. J2 stars that have been awarded. So there we go. So they have a number of different notifications. Now, messaging parents. We'll look at both views in this instance. I'm going to show you the teacher view, and then I'm going to show you what it looks like as a parent. Now, just bear in mind that at the moment my parent messaging is switched on, so I'm actually going to switch that off to give you a view. So I'm going to go to my setup in my dashboard, and I'm going to switch off allow parents to message teachers. So I'm going to switch that off. Obviously, if you want to, you can switch that back on, but for the first part of this demo, I'm going to show you what it looks like with it switched off. So just message your parents or carers. You are going to open up J2 Message as a teacher. And there we go. It's automatically going to open up into the lowest class. So this is class 1. Now I actually want to message my parents and carers in class 1, and you'll notice there is a sub discussion board that says message all parents and carers. So this discussion board is messaging your pupils, and then this discussion board is messaging parents and carers. So it'll be very clearly labelled at the top. Now you can also message all parents and carers for the entire school, so it's fantastic if maybe you've got things like a snow day, or something's happened and school is suddenly closed. You might want to have a backup method of notification as well. I wouldn't fully rely on it, but this might be things like your newsletter, or I don't know, an announcement from school. So you can message all parents and carers in school. You can also message individual parents and carers, and that can be done through the individual discussion boards, which can be found here. And then we've got our search bar at the top, and we can search for an individual child. So for example, Lottie, we might want to message her parents. Now, it's not obvious at the moment, but if I click on Lottie, that is where I will see any parents or carers that have been added. So for example, Nicola Kimball, it's going to very clearly state which parent or carer you are messaging. But I'm actually going to stick within, so I'm going to clear that search. I'm going to stick within the class 1 messaging board. I'm going to message all parents and carers. And I might say, I'm trying to think what I've got in my... In fact, I'm going to add my attachment first, and then I'm going to write my message around it. So we've got speech to text here, and we've also got record an audio message. So this is a brand new update. So if you do have parents maybe that struggle with their literacy, or you just want to send a quick audio message instead, you can record yourself as a soundbite. So that's a nice feature. You've got the attachment button as well, so we can click on the attachment button. That's going to open up my files. So I can click on something. So for example, let's go for this bit of data. So this is a data image. Now that could be, I don't know, a picture of the class working. That could be a J2E5 file that the class have worked on. That could be any piece of work, could be a video if you wanted to. You can add any attachment there. Once we've added an attachment, we can also click on it, and that will showcase it in a different tab. So that is some work that we did yesterday in J2 Data. If you add anything by mistake, you've got that cross button, so you can remove that if you wanted to. So I'm going to say, today in class we were looking at Titanic database. There we go. And there we go. And then I hit send, and that's going to send to all of my students, all of my parents that are linked to students. And they will all be able to see that. So I can have a look. Here is one that I did earlier. So there we go. There's the pupils engaging with work. If you are in a one-to-one messaging service, so let's have a look at Lottie again. This time when I add attachment, I've also got the option up here to click on that child's name. So for example, let's have a look. Lottie has done some fantastic work, so let's have a look, and I can send, let's go ways to school, I can send multiple pieces of work, and I could say Lottie has worked really hard this week. Star of the week. There we go. So you can click on these pieces of work, and it's going to take you to those pieces of work. Now, because I'm logged in as a teacher, that will show that as a piece of work that is editable. But as a parent, that will open as a view-only document. So then I'm going to hit send, and Lottie's mom or parent will be able to see both of these pieces of work. So that is how we would send a message in J2 Message from a teacher perspective. Now, as a parent, I'm going to show you what a message looks like on our app. So here's Lottie. I'm going to click on Lottie. You can see there that is auto updated to 3 messages now. So we can click on that message board. And you'll see these are the teachers that we stipulated that were contactable by this particular parent. Okay, so that's all that they've got option to view in the staff messages. And these green numbers indicate an unread message. So let's have a look at class 1 to start with. So there is class 1. We can see we worked hard in class and all the children participated well, so we've got a lovely image. And today in class we looked at the Titanic database. If I click on these pieces of work, that will open up in a view only format, so I can't actually do anything with that, but I can see it. The other thing you'll notice is there is no reply option here. So this is a one-way messaging service at the moment, so parents can't message back. Now, I'm just going to move this out of the way, just to show you how it looks in a slightly different way. So if I go back to my dashboard, if I now allow parents to message, and if I just bring my app back, if I go to my messages and I go to my class 1 message, you'll now notice that there is a little reply arrow on the right hand side. If I click reply as Lottie's parent, the title of the discussion board changes at the top, so you can see it's now a one-to-one message board. Miss Kimball J2E, I am messaging directly with that parent. So let me just enter in some content. So great work. There we go. And I'm going to hit enter. And that is going to go directly back to Miss Kimball J2E. Okay. Now, there was another message. So I'm going to open up my messages again. You can see here Miss Kimball J2E. If I click on that, there is that message that we've just sent back in the, I don't know why it's done that, there we go, in the one-to-one message from our class discussion book. But if I look above that, there is that one-to-one message that the parent sent, the teacher sent to the parent. So I can click on these pieces of work, and that opens that pictogram in a view-only format. So the parent can't make any changes to this, even though I'm clicking on my screen. Well, that shouldn't happen. So they can't make any changes to that. That is view only. So I'm just going to move this out of the way. So that is our messaging service. Now, parents uploading content. So this can be done from the upload tile. So just to show you I'm going to go for the desktop version here. If I click sign in, and if I go to Lottie, I've got this button that says upload files. So if I click on this, here we go, I can go to choose files, and that will then take me to my computer's hard drive. I could look on a USB stick, I could look on an external camera, and I can add any images in. They can add any file, even things like Word documents, PowerPoints, Excel. So if the pupil has created something at home on a home computer, that can be uploaded as well. So just to give you an idea, we can click on, this is just an image. If I click open, that then loads up and will load into that child's My Files area. Now the same can be done on the app. So if I scroll down and if I have a look, I've got my upload files. I've then got the option to choose files, and you can see there I've got photo library. The only difference here is that I can take photo or video, so I can take live videos or photos straight into My Files area, so that's quite a nice feature. We can also choose files that have been saved on your particular device. So that is how you would upload using the app. Right to the child's files area. So this links into the child's My Files area. The view will look very similar. The parent can see all the work that their child has created in class and saved. There's also the upload option, so the Dropbox will be there on the left-hand side. The parents will be able to see any learning conversations that have happened, but they won't be able to comment within them. So that is a nice update. And they can also choose the display format at the top. So let's have a look. So on my desktop, I'm going to go back to Launch. I'm going to click in My Child Files. And this is what it looks like. So there we go. So there is Lottie's My Files area. As I said, they've got the Dropbox function there, so you can drag anything in. So let's add this one. Let's add this one. And that will upload. Once they've uploaded it, they won't be able to delete it. The other thing that we can do is we can use the different viewpoints. Now this will show any progression tags that child might have met along the right hand side. If you have shared files, the parents will be able to access them through the shared files area. So this is great if you're sharing photos. As we can see, we go to list files. These are all the files and images that have been shared by a teacher. And on the app, this is what it looks like. So if we go to Child Files, you'll see it is the same interface. The only slight difference is the Upload Files area looks slightly different. Doesn't have the box around it. But there we go. We can click in any of these pieces of work and they will open in a view-only format. So let's have a look. There we go. I'm going to open up a bigger file. So this is the solar system. And this is a J2E5 file that we've created. So any videos that we've embedded in it will work. There we go. So that is child files in Parent Portal. Then we have J2Webby. So for any schools that are using J2Webby, this is a great class blog site. Every tool that we have allows you to publish straight to J2Webby. And you'll notice that there is if I just open up some content, there is the publish button on most of our tools. So for example, let's add some content. I can hit publish and that is going to publish to my class blog site. Now, if it was a pupil pressing publish, that would need to be authorised by a teacher in the moderation area. So just bear that in mind. But once content is pushed to J2Webby, that is accessible via the parents. So just be mindful of that if you are adding things onto J2Webby, so things like pupil pictures, please just be mindful of that. And this is what J2Webby looks like. So let's have a look from the parent portal. So I'm going back to Launch. So I'm in my parent account. I can click on my class blog and that will link directly to whichever class your child is assigned to. So this is class 1. There is that content that I have just pushed. You can see the beach. You can view those posts so they can look at them in a bit more depth. There is no option for commenting. So parents won't be able to leave any comments. All the functionality will work, so that's quite a nice feature. So things like this one is a J2E5 solar system, so things like the hyperlinks will work and the videos will work, and animations. So it will retain full functionality of whatever the child has created. Now, if the parent does just want to see their child's content, they will need to scroll down so you can see the author and the date that it was posted. They can scroll down, find their child. If they click on their child's name, that then will give them a nice individual feed of the child's work. So that looks very similar when we come on to the app. So if I go to class blog, there we go. That is what our class blog looks like. And as with the desktop version, they can click view post and that will open up a nice view only version of that piece of work. Right, J2 Stars. So your parents will have access to J2 Stars. This will just give them an overview of how many stars their child has received that week. It'll give them an overview of total stars, any feedback that might have been left, personalised feedback, that will be given in yellow. They can also see why their stars have been awarded and also access to the child's avatar. So just to show you, let's come back, let's go to Launchpad, let's go to J2 Stars. There we go, we can see Lottie. We can streamline these points, so we'll just want to see this week. So she's had 2 this week. Let's have a look in this month. So she's had 5 this month. And then let's look for a total. So she's had 105 since the academic year, or since the last reset. And we can see why she's been joining in and teamwork. And if I scroll down, I can see some of these are yellow. So that's where a teacher has chosen to leave some specific feedback. So she was kind, and Lottie helped another student who was upset at lunchtime. So we can see why she's received some of these stars. And again, that will look very similar on the app. If I go to J2 Stars at the top, there we go, we can see Lottie, we can see what stars she's received, and we can scroll through and see all of the points that she's had. We can see obviously that feedback as well. Now, homework tasks that have been set for students. Parents have a view-only mode or a view-only view of the homework. So any tasks that have been set by teachers. They can see the outstanding tasks. They can see the ones that they haven't read, will have a little yellow eye. They can also show completed homework and expired homework. They've got a view of the set date and the due date. And they can also see the homework task in its full entirety, but they cannot complete homework on a child's behalf. So it's really important to make that obvious to your parents. If the children are completing homework, they do need to log in as themselves into j2e.com to complete that homework. So this is what J2 homework looks like. They can either click on this button or this button. We go, and I can see I've got 1 homework outstanding. The reason it's yellow is because it is due today at 4:40. So if I click on this, I can see that piece of homework. So this is actually set from the library. So I've got a description, I've got a homework link. If it was a manually created homework file, you may well have a link, sort of like a box to click on a template file if the teacher has chosen to set that as a piece of homework. This is a library resource. So there we go. The parents can open this and they can complete the homework alongside their child. So for example, they could start filling things out and save it. But in terms of submitting that piece of homework, the parent won't be able to do that because there is no submit button within the parent account. So the parent would need to log out of their parent account and have the child log in as their child account. So the homework on an app, if we click on homework, this is how it looks. There we go. And there you go. So you have your description, the set date at the top, the link to the homework file, and the submitted files. And that is the end of our webinar. So I hope that you've enjoyed it. We are always appreciative of webinar feedback. It really helps us focus our training and make sure that it is paced well and delivered well. So please feel free to scan this QR code. You can pause this video and scan it if you want to. And that just helps, as I said, to determine our delivery in future sessions. And our contact details. So you can contact us, edteam@j2e.com, for any curriculum-based queries. We can also forward on any support queries, so please feel free to email us at that email address, and we will forward it as appropriate. Our social media contact, we are vocal on both Facebook and X, formerly known as Twitter. You can find us by searching Just Too Easy. And we're also on YouTube, so Just Too Easy TV. You'll find this recording and many other webinar recordings on our YouTube channel. So I hope that you've enjoyed this session. Thank you so much for giving up your time. And we hope to see you for another session soon. Thank you. Good night.